I've got a second camera running here in case this gets taken down. This is a really, really urgent situation developing here. So, keeping it short, there's a couple of things we have to keep discreet. I can't give you the names of the individuals concerned. I can only tell you what's happening. Okay, on Saturday last, a woman, a healthy young woman in her early 40s, a foreign national, had an asthma attack, and she went on into Castlebar Hospital to get some oxygen. This was about 11 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock in the evening, she was ready to be taken home. She had family members there, two sisters, who waited at the hospital and were prepared to take her home, when suddenly they were informed by the hospital staff that their sister had been rendered unconscious. She had been injected with something to paralyze her, and she had been put on a COVID ventilator. Now, as far as the girls are concerned, this was completely unnecessary. We've seen screenshots of the girl in question. Her oxygen levels were at 97. I believe it's 97%, but anyway, 97, whatever that indicates. And this was on last Saturday, guys, all right? So what's happened since is that the girls made a number of attempts to talk to the hospital officials. They made it abundantly clear. The lady in question, the patient, said that nothing was to happen without going through her elder sister. So this is in effect establishing what is known as power of attorney. In other words, you have somebody there who has the authority to make decisions in the event that the sick person is incapacitated somehow, all right? As an next of kin, you don't actually have any legal rights, believe it or not, but as power of attorney you do. Now, the next stage of the process was when the girls tried to go in to see their sister, and security were called. I got to hear about this, I believe it was late on Tuesday. By this time, the two sisters have been sleeping across chairs in the waiting room in Mayo General Hospital, trying to get access to their sister. They were told on a couple of occasions, no, it's not possible. She's now on this ventilator, which is an operational process. And despite them making it clear that the hospital did not have their permission to go ahead and carry out these procedures, it went ahead. Now, I'm not speaking from my own knowledge here, but I will convey the fact that the girls believe that their sister is being lined up or earmarked to be yet another COVID-19 statistic for the government propaganda machine. Obviously, I don't expect this to stay up very long on Facebook with me saying things like this, but if necessary, I'll put out the backup video afterwards, all right? Excuse the lack of bells and whistles and everything, but this is super important, guys, because what's just happened now, yesterday, I went in to the hospital with the sisters, and we asked to speak to the hospital administrator or deputy manager or whatever she's called. Her name is Mairead Lacken. Yes, Mairead, you should have been aware. She tried to intimidate us. It was not a very nice meeting. We had the legal papers to serve on them to establish the fact that the older sister was now power of attorney, and whatever the hospital was doing, they were to stop immediately doing anything without the permission. They weren't even to give the lady an aspirin without the permission of her older sister. Now, this is law, okay? First of all, we went to the Garda station to ask for an escort to accompany us, because the girls by now, or by then, had been kicked out by the security out of the hospital premises, out into the rain at 4 o'clock in the morning and such like, because they were persisting in wanting to see their sister out of genuine concern. Now, these girls are not well informed according to the law. They're just ordinary people like you or I. This is why this is so very, very important. The hospital operating like this, acting unilaterally without permission against everybody's fundamental rights, this is not only unlawful, it is downright sinister, especially after we went in yesterday, served the papers on them, and later on, if we get a chance to do a fuller video, we'll show the shots of us serving these papers. The woman in question, Miss Lacken, stormed off arrogantly after telling us, you're not allowed to record me and I've got video watching you and all this sort of nonsense. Well, yes, you were being recorded, Miss Lacken. We've got everything you said, and it's not against the law for us to do that. So anyway, the guards had confirmed to us that we were perfectly within our rights to serve those papers. We did so as cordially and as respectfully as we could. And a word out to the security guys who did deal with us yesterday. On that occasion, you were courteous and helpful, and I appreciate that. But the latest then I heard was that last night the girls were again ejected from the premises, the Mayo hospital premises. This time the guards were called, and unbelievably, and again I don't get this, do none of the guards, do you not understand that you're supposed to uphold the bloody law? You're not there to do what some corrupt institution tells you to do, or some dirtbag just because they've got some sort of a position of authority. You're there to uphold the law. But apparently they were called, they threatened the girls that they'd be arrested and put in jail if they didn't get off the hospital premises again. Now, meanwhile, as we were waiting to decide what was the best way to go ahead with this, I warned Miss Lacken that she would be facing criminal charges if she did not immediately restore the patient to proper health and release her back into the custody of her family. We've said the same to Mr. Donnelly, Minister Stephen Donnelly. His secretary acknowledged that we had sent the information to him, but he hasn't responded since either. But some panic is afoot because now they're trying to move the patient to Limerick Hospital. And for those of you that might say, well, what's wrong with that? I'll tell you what's wrong with that. First of all, they're trying to separate the patient from her family members who are based here in Mayo. They want to make it as inconvenient and difficult as possible for them to be able to visit and stay on the premises. Secondly, if something sinister is afoot, they will now start broadening the blame, and something might happen in transit, or oh dear, and all this sort of nonsense. This is what goes on, guys. This is an extremely important case, guys. It's so important to everyone, not just here in Mayo, but in the whole of Ireland. Anybody who gets taken into a hospital, there are two things you have to do immediately. First of all, if you get taken into the hospital for anything at all, to protect yourself, you make the hospital aware that you are nominating someone you trust as your power of attorney. Okay, that's so important. If you can't do so because they've rendered you unconscious, such as has happened in this case, excuse the noise, in this case, then please send a text or anything at all that conveys your wishes in that regard. I want so-and-so to be my spokesperson if I'm rendered unconscious. And that takes away the lawful right for these hospitals to bloody well do as they please. And I say this again, guys, with respect to all of the decent health workers out there. There is far too much evidence now of senior administrators, unscrupulous, sociopathic, and all they're interested in is boosting these COVID numbers so as to project more fear out into the public. Okay? Now, I've already said it. I'm not going to push the book here now, but we've just finished our book, Crisis, Cull or Coup, What, How and Who, Facts and Truths to Make Think. That book explains everything and shows you the dangers that we're all in by succumbing to the official narrative. Please, guys, anyway, once this message, I'm going to cut this short now and let it get out there. We need people to be on the alert. If this patient is moved to Limerick Hospital, we want people on standby to be able to go down and cause a ruckus and a fuss there. We are going to press criminal charges against Mairead Lacken, the administrator of Castlebar Hospital, and against Minister Stephen Donnelly as soon as we've outlined and we've got the documentation ready to prove that criminal offences have been committed here. And the main criminal offence is that they are refusing to respect the right of a family member as a power of attorney to actually make the decisions on behalf of their next of kin. That's the criminal offence here. Please, guys, share this. I've done my best. I know it's ad hoc. I'm now going to go and see if I can upload the other version of the second camera on safer platforms. Thanks, guys. Please share the news. Again, we've been asked to keep the names of the patient and the sisters private for the moment. All you need to know is that they're foreign nationals, arguably vulnerable people. There's another man in the hospital as well, another foreign national. A similar thing has happened to him, and we're sort of teaming up with them as well to try and protect him as well. The hospital seems to be in a blind panic. All of a sudden, they're now trying to, after going from saying that this man was on death's door 2 days ago, now there's a blind panic and there's swarms of doctors going in and out, and apparently he's in a state of recovery now. Now, isn't that welcome? Welcome news. Let's hope the same thing will happen for this other lady. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. I'm going to stop this broadcast now.